Dun dun dun. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. This start is going to cover nothing but the functionality. If you get tired of watching my functionality, you can just go ahead and skip towards the end portion, or if that's the only part you watch, you can just pretty much end it there. As you can hear, as soon as the program opens, it immediately starts playing my background noise music. And the background noise music pretty much just lets me play music. Bring out the next. Ta-da! You can either hand enter one or have the system procedurally generate one. And as you can see, I actually played with the opacity to make it translucent. So it actually reflects the backdrop that I chose for this, which was a iced up window, which is definitely directly evocative of the Frostpunk theme. The game itself that this little tool is based off of. It generates the Poor Souls rating, the Dead Bodies rating in life, which in this instance is engineer. But as you can see, it'll change to worker, 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 engineer, worker, child. So there's only really three options in Frostpunk. You're either a child, a worker, or an engineer. And that pretty much just is directly based off the game. This one just discards the current obituary so that whatever you're doing with the obituary is just thrown out, as in, oh wait, they weren't dead yet, they warmed up and apparently they're still alive. Generate another one, and then here just comes the commit him to the ice button. His name has been written in stone. And that's pretty much it, because it'll just keep doing this. So I do another one, and another one, and yet another one. And that is it for the predominant portion of the functional demonstration. So I'll just go ahead and pop over really quick to the and yep. I could have used a pen, but I just wanted to do like a single sheet, so. And that's it. It overwrites the file every time it does it, so instead of making a new one, it just overwrites the previously existing one. Now, I'll go straight through the code, just because. As you can see here, this is just the, it just clears the form. Pulls the information from the form, submits it to the file, so I'll actually go procedural on this one. We have a bunch of static integers up here, so I don't have any magic numbers in my program. And this is the file directory. This is nice and apparent and at the top. This is the list of names that it can get for first names. This is the list of names that it can get for last names. This is the list that it uses for whatever the profession that the person had while they were alive. And this just keeps track of the size of the list so that when it rolls on them, it doesn't roll outside of the limits and it can actually roll within it. This is just like the text file name. We get down here, the class that I have for this is Citizen Z. It instantiates with a base level of obituary, name, and rating. The initialization of the class is very simple. It just throws back a obituary for failed somehow if you don't do anything else. So if you're just to run this through without the obituary generator running, it would just return failed somehow. The gets, get name, get rating, set rating, set first name, set OB, and then get OB. So there's all my, I have 3 get set pairs and no methods within the actual class itself other than the gets and sets. Unique feature here with the public form one, initialize component, this dot load plus equals new event handler. This dot form one underscore load, so it just creates a new instance of the form load event. And then the form load event, all it does is call start musics. And then with start musics, I set up an assembly, I set up a sound player, I assign the assembly by getting the currently actively executing assembly. And then I set up a new sound player using the guitar music.wave, and then I execute the sound player's play looping in order to play the music looping continuously for as long as the obituary generator is open. The button that I didn't hit because it's a little bit hard to tell on Obi, but it does definitely work. I'll hit it at the end of the video just to show, even though it kind of screws with Visual Studios in the way that it takes you out of Visual Studios and Google Chrome, and yeah. But I'll go ahead and close that down for a little moment. Button click 3, it's just, this is the bring out the next button. It just generates one, pushes the information into the Citizen Z class, and then pulls it back out in order to fill up the text fields. The generate name, and it really just calls 3 different methods that return strings. It does generate name, generate rating, and generate OBI. And the only real significant things about this is it uses the random rolls with varying size, using the static variables at the top of the screen, and then it static casts them back into enumeration strings at the bottom here. Then going further down, it does the same thing with rating, pushes it back into the class then turns around and pushes it into the text boxes. This allows me to have a greater flexibility with the class. I'm just using a temporary instance of the class in order to, for convenience. Then we go down to here to generate rating, and then generate OBI. OBI is unique in the fact that it actually uses branching if statements through multiple run-through loopings using the if, the else if, and the else. And then this is one snarly thing that was not requested of us at any point in time during the coursework, but I have a multi-step switch conditions. So my external one is the current OB, which part of the obituary it's currently working on, and then chosen path, which is which part of the path it's working on. So it determines, okay, how they come to be a part of the city. Then it says, what did they do while they're in the city? And then lastly, it does, how did they die? Because this is an obituary. And then it returns the whatever result it gets from these switch paths. I know switches are very old code, but they're still quite useful, even if they are extremely crunchy. And yeah, starting path just pulls the maximum number of path fields for the roll from the top of the screen. Same from the top of the screen, same from the top of the screen, just 3 different source. That allows for a great deal of scalability and expansibility. And then it just pushes whatever the roll result is, along with whatever the current obituary is, into the Obi-Wan, which is just a pathfinding system for coming to a resolution set. Then we get down to here. This is just pushes it to write to record. It just uses a using with the very write OB equals new stream writer. I did a lot of this when I was being an SQL developer, and at that point it was just using the with when it comes to VB and VBA instead of the using. But it does the same thing. And I nestled that inside of a try-catch statement just in case for whatever reason you don't have write permissions on your drive for the file for whatever reason. And if it fails to write it, it just sends you the their message there because it returns a boolean. So if it says it can't do it, it returns a false. So the boolean has the write statement nested within it, and if it can't do it, it just returns a boolean instead of having that directly nestled inside of the button click itself. It's actually capable of being accessed externally during the method. So I just do a bool did write equals yada yada, and then I just check the conditions of the did write. And then I just have the clear form button. stuff pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Makes use of pretty much everything we used in this: strings, incantations, loops, writing to files, reading from files, playing music, classes, class structures, and it does it in a fairly straightforward and simple manner, which executes in a very streamlined fashion that does a very specific task. I use some specialty text to give it flavor, and now to take us out, I'll go ahead and launch it again and click the Frostpunk button. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, my antivirus is working. It doesn't work, so we just proved. Ta-da! So now just go back to this and kill it. And that is my presentation.